Hi, I'm Nathan Bolt, artist at Emergent, and in this video we're going to cover how to apply a custom shader to an object in Maya and export that out to Gamebryo. So to start out with, the custom shader I'm going to be using is from a guy named J.I. Styles. It's the skin shader he has available on his website. You can download it straight from there. We're using it with his permission. However, the version we have has been modified slightly. Before you can apply any shader in Gamebryo, you need to go through the FX file, or if you're writing CG, the CG file, and add some annotations so that that will show up properly in Maya, so you can edit it and add textures and export it out. We're going to cover how to do that in another video, so for the time being that's already been done. But once you've gone ahead and done that and you have your FX file, the first thing you need to do is to copy that to the right location so Maya will pick up on it. And that location is going to be the root of your Lightspeed installation, media, shaders, data. So we'll just go ahead and paste this shader right in there, and then we'll launch Maya. If you do that while Maya is open, you will have to restart, because otherwise it's not going to reload any shaders you copy while it's running. So once Maya loads up, we're going to go ahead and open our scene. And in this case, I'm going to be using the head from the character we were working on earlier. That's Stryker from the War Machine universe, owned by Privateer Press. So to apply custom shader, the first thing you need to do is to go ahead and create a Gamebryo standard material. And when that loads up, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's an entry here called Gamebryo Shader. If you open this up, this is not going to load the names of your shaders, but rather it's going to load the names of the techniques you define in those shaders. So in this case, that shader had 3 different techniques: Skin Shader Complete, 1, 2, and 3 lights. We're going to go ahead and use the 3 light version for this. Once you've got your shader selected, go ahead and click on the button that says Select Gamebryo Shader, and that will rebuild your UI from below that point with all the options available to that shader. So let's go ahead and actually apply this shader to our model. And then I'm going to go through, so you can see it's anything that was annotated in the FX file, it's going to go ahead and build an input for it. I'm going to go ahead and just put in some values I know work well with this character. This will take just a moment. Okay, so once you've got all your values put in, it's going to generate an input for all of the different textures you have assigned to the associated with your shader. In this case, we've got 5 different textures, so I'm going to go ahead and link these up one at a time. First one we have in this case is our diffuse texture, which is right here. We also have a normal texture, pretty standard. This shader also lets you define a micro normal that's just going to tile over your normal to give it a little bit more detail as you get up close. And then we have a specular texture. And then finally our translucence texture for like subsurface scattering. So when you've got all of those defined, you could go ahead and do a preview now, but the important thing to keep in mind when you use custom shaders is that those don't use the fragment system that the Gamebryo material has set up for lights. So any shader you write is going to be expecting a specific number and kind of lights, and you need to go ahead and put those in your scene file before you do an export. It's not going to grab any of the standard lights. So in this case, this one will take 3 point lights, so we're going to go ahead and just set up 3 point lights in our scene real quickly so we can see what this will actually look like. So I'll put 1 up to the front. Sort of a blue one off to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and put an orange one behind him. So once you all have all the inputs set up correctly for your shader, you can go ahead and just hit the preview export, and if everything works properly, it'll go ahead and show up. If when you do an export you have sort of a, whatever you had your custom shader on is sort of flashing all these different colors and rapidly changing size, that's the Gamebryo error shader. It means that either your shader didn't parse correctly, or you forgot some input. So the first thing to check is to see how many lights it's expecting and go ahead and put those lights in, or make sure you didn't forget to add some texture. So in this case, we've got everything set up properly. You can see we're getting sort of a Fresnel effect off to the side. We've got our base map. We've got some subsurface scattering going on, like along the neck, or you can really see it on the ears here. It's a little bit hard to tell since I did put an orange light behind him. But anyway, that's how you set up a custom shader to work with Gamebryo and Maya.